Hi everyone, I'm Christina Radix.
Hi everyone, I'm Sergio Barrio Nuevo.
Hola a todos, soy Christina Radix.
Hola a todos, soy Sergio Barrio Nuevo.
And we are 40 Quarantines. Y somos 40 Cuarentenas.
Este programa está patrocinado por Nordic Dental Center, tu clínica dental y estética de la Costa del Sol, y Loop by Cell, agencia de venta directa digital. Ayuda a digitalizar la captación de clientes y la puesta en marcha de nuevos negocios para que funcionen digitalmente. This program is sponsored by Nordic Dental Center, your dental and aesthetic clinic in Costa del Sol, and Loop by Cell, a digital direct sales agency. They help digitize customer acquisition and the startup of new businesses to make them work digitally.
Hola Cristina, ¿qué tal?
Hola
tiempo?
Sergio, muy bien.
Sí, ¿verdad? Bueno, ¿qué tal la semana? ¿Cómo la has llevado?
Muy bien, muy ilusionada. I'm very excited about our podcast and about our guest today. It's a subject that is very close to my heart, and I'm so excited what we can learn and what we can hear today.
Bien, pues a mí me ha pasado más o menos lo mismo. Se han pasado la semana súper rápido. Me parece que fue ayer que estuvimos hablando. Y total que bueno, hemos estado haciendo el tema de las redes sociales, todo la comunicación. Hay muchas personas preguntando sobre esta iniciativa y la verdad es que ilusionado también, con muchas ganas de hacerlo, producirlo y compartir. Y bueno, en esta semana yo quería compartir una cosa que era el sentimiento que hay muchas personas que se quedan atascados con su energía, están usándola más para la preocupación que para la acción. Y una de las cosas que como conclusión que quiero, que no viene o viene y no viene, ¿no? Pero que quiero aportar es que que podemos coger la energía de nuestro día y de enfocarla realmente a crear lo que queremos hacer en nuestra vida. Está lloviendo, está tronando, está bien, pero oye, lo que pase dentro de casa es independiente, ¿no? Y al menos un poquito. Y nada, es lo que quería comentarte, porque tenía ganas de compartirlo también contigo.
Sí, así es. That's true. I will start with telling a story about what happened the last week before I got license of dentistry in Malmö, south of Sweden. We were all excited to get our license and to start to work, and we had a class in the afternoon, and the teacher, who's also a dentist, said, okay, now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the dentist and their health. And he was speaking about the statistics about how many dentists go through problems with their health, psychological problems, that there are high risk of suicide in that profession. And we were sitting there like, wow, what is happening? We have been studying 5 years and you're telling us this now. But of course, in the same way, we were so excited. So one part of me thought like, nah, it's not true. But the other part was like, oh God, why do you say it now? And now 15 years after, because this was 2005, I'm thinking like, if you knew all these things, maybe you could prepare us. Maybe you could prepare us for that during the 5 years of studies.
O sea, que fuisteis la primera vez que os quedasteis con la boca abierta antes de ir a la clínica, ¿no?
Sí, más o menos. Yeah, so that was, and then been working as a dentist 15 years, you go through your ups and downs, and I think what the guest today will tell us is we cannot only apply it in dentistry, we can apply it in any profession, because we're all going through stress and negativity, and especially in times like this, we need to have tools in our daily life that can help us, and we need to be reminded over and over again, because many of you that hear us today will think, yeah, I know, I have heard that before, but we need to be reminded over and over again. That's why these podcasts are so good.
Y es igual que el deporte, es igual que el deporte. El deporte o comer bien es el hábito y la continuidad, aunque sea deportista una persona, si deja de hacerlo, deja los buenos hábitos, se convierte en otra cosa. Creo que también es importante de mantener y tener esa guía como estilo de vida. Me parece muy importante. Y como profesionales también somos personas.
Yeah. So one day in Instagram, I saw this account that said mindful dentistry, and because I've always been inspired by mindfulness, I was like, oh, I have to follow this account.
Claro.
And then I think the post where our guest today told us about her volunteer work, then it was like, oh yes, I have to share my thoughts with her. And I was so thankful that she shared her thoughts with us. So welcome, Manuela, and thank you very much for wanting to spend an hour with us here.
Thank you.
Who are you? Tell us.
Cuenta.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm delighted to be here talking to you. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Sergio, and it's a pleasure to be here talking to you both. And I was listening to you, and there was already so much things that you already told that made sense. And Christina, just before I introduce myself, just to say that you were so right about when you say we have to remind ourselves, and mindfulness is all about remembering, but it's we have to apply it also, and that's what Sergio was saying. So it's so important to remember, because what I feel is that sometimes we know things and we know that we should and this and that, but to remind ourselves to do it and to actually do it, it's very, very important. But okay, let me tell you a little bit about me. Manuela, I'm actually Portuguese. I'm a dentist. Also, I finished my dentistry school in Lisboa in 2001. So next year it's going to be 20 years. And I in 2014 I moved to Belgium, and I started working as a dentist also in Belgium from 2014 on. Before I come to Belgium, I already started with my mindfulness practice. I mean, as a way of dealing with the stress of the profession and with all the difficulties that I had in dealing with the perfectionism, with bringing anxiety home, dealing with the anxiety of the patients. But it was when I was working here in Belgium, there is actually a workshop that is mindfulness in the dental clinic. Mm-hmm. And it's from the official dentist association here, and I found that that's great. So this is really specific for the clinic. So I'm going to do that. And because I already had the mindfulness and the meditation practice, so it was really something new for me to hear all of that applied to our everyday work and in a clinic. And I started applying it for myself. So all the concepts I started taking, for example, I started paying attention what my feelings and emotions were when I arrived to the practice early in the morning, and I start noticing already an anxiety in my chest.
Yeah.
And I started applying all the relaxation techniques and to ground myself in my senses and to mindful listening to patients and all of that. And it completely changed my approach to dentistry. So the turning point here was when I spoke with this person that gave this workshop here in Belgium, and he told me, yeah, why do you have your practice, you've been trying, you're going deep on this, so why don't you think on teaching this? So I applied back in 2015 or 16. I applied for a 2 years teacher's training and as a mindfulness-based stress reduction teacher.
Wow.
And during the training, I already started working with colleagues, dentists, and I started having good results. And after I finished my certification, I continued working only with colleagues, with dentists. And at a certain moment, I thought, okay, I'm going to make this official and create mindful dentistry as a way of having more dentists know what I'm doing, because the results are good. And I started to teach this skill to other dentists on how they could apply this in their everyday, because what I tried, I have an 8 weeks course and it's very practical, because all of this we can speak about it, but only if you practice it, only if you apply it, like we were saying in the beginning, then you get the benefits. So the course is very practical, and I start teaching this and I start having good results. And at a certain moment, I realized I had more fun and more pleasure to actually doing that than in my dentistry practice. So last year I stopped my clinical practice and I started doing this full time. So
Hey. Wow, congratulations.
Wow. Bienvenida a la libertad.
Wow, what a beautiful story. But Manuela, that makes me, sorry. I was thinking, the man who told you should go deeper, it's so important to have people that push you. He saw that in you and he pushed you forward.
Es the same. Es lo mismo iba a decir yo.
¿Ah,
Te
sí?
iba a decir, sí, bueno, es prácticamente eso, que la cosa surgió de una manera espontánea de alguien que te invita a, ¿no? Igual que este podcast, nació de, oye, me ha inspirado a, oye, ¿qué te parece si aquí estamos?
Yeah, and to telling people, because many times, especially today, we have so much social media, we see beautiful things, we see inspiring things, but we don't say anything, and we cannot comment everything. Then we would be with the mobile all the time. But I force myself to comment people when I feel something, because those words can mean a lot to that person that day. That is maybe what inspire you to do a change and if that he wouldn't say that, maybe you wouldn't be, you had it in you, but somebody who says, do it, go deeper.
That's you're totally right. That's so important for us to have a word of encouragement and to be able to give that word to someone when we actually feel. Don't just keep it inside. Say it to someone.
Yeah. And to listen to your instincts, no? If you.
Yeah.
And what you said, in the morning you could feel the stress.
Yeah. But that's a very important thing also that you can, it's a skill that you acquire also when you practice mindfulness, and that I teach in my course. And I think it's so much important skill for dentists. It's to actually be able to listen to your intuition. And you can use this for example, we all have this voice inside that says, for example, for a treatment, let's put this in a practical examples.
Yeah.
For a treatment, and you say, I think it would be best to do so.
Yeah.
But then, because or if the patient wants you to go other way, or if you are with a busy schedule, or money-wise, sometimes money, it's a pressure also in dentistry, and you don't do what that voice said that would be the best. And then it doesn't work, because usually it takes to frustration, both yours and the patient. And then you realize, I should have done what I thought. But if you knew, why didn't you do it?
La mentalidad del dentista, yo creo, en mi perspectiva, como desde fuera, hay dos. El que tiene una clínica es dentista y empresario, y el que es empleado solo. Son dos perspectivas.
So in my case, when I am a dentist and I am the clinic owner, it's double trouble. You have to.
I never had the courage to have my own practice. I always were very aware of that, because I had already to deal with the stress of the profession. I never had the courage, the guts, to take that step, because it's like you said,
but that's good
for sure.
But that's good. I really admire people who can see that from the beginning. Also, for example, people say, I don't want children because I don't want to respond. When you see, because for me it was always like, Christina, do you want the easy road or hard road, difficult road? And I'm like, I go with the difficult. And it's like, but I'm very curious about, are there more women? Do you think there are more women suffering from these kind of stress situations in dentistry, or are there more?
I don't think it's a question of men or women. I think it's a question of definitely the profession.
The profession.
The profession. I think that the approach of men and women are different. So, for example, women are much more open about it.
Yes.
Women are much more open, even from a point of view of balancing the professional life with their personal lives, right? With children and everything. So women are much more open about it, because they also talk about it from that point of view, the balance that they need to put together an already very demanding professional life with a demanding personal life.
Yeah.
Men are not so open about it, but the experience that I have is that, for example, in my courses, I usually have as the same amount of number as men or women. They recognize something.
Wow. Yeah.
The thing is that men sometimes only recognize it when they are already going through severe stress, already going through maladaptive coping strategies for stress. When they are already near a burnout, when they are feeling that, just like Sergio said, that feeling that they have no meaning in life anymore. I fought so much for this profession. This is all I wanted in my life, and now it's like I reached this, and what am I doing? So it's different approaches for men and women, but I think the stress, it's a problem of the profession itself. It's a high stressful profession. I mean, and it's also a profession that sometimes it can lead to isolation. So for example, if you own a practice and if you just work there, that's your world, and you you feel very lonely and you feel very isolated. And then you go to your peers and to your colleagues, and of course you discuss, the techniques and what you do here and there, but no one teaches you. And that has to do with what you said in the beginning, Christina. I mean, even nowadays, at me, I finished, like I told you, almost 20 years ago, and no one taught me anything about stress management or the stress of the profession. Do you also not? And nowadays, also not. But there's much more awareness nowadays in the young mentality and the young people. There's much, much more awareness now for mental issues and for stress reduction,
that's good.
which is good. But still, this is something that it's not taught. And it's not only stress management, it's also how to deal with difficult emotions, how to deal with difficult patients, how to deal with that negative thoughts, how to balance our inner critic, because most dentists I know have a high, loud inner critic. They are very hard on themselves.
Yeah.
How do you rewire your self-critical brain? So, it's a stressful profession, and no one teaches you how to deal with that. And then you it's like you get out of the university and you think, maybe I missed that day school that they taught that. Maybe I was not there. But no, it's not. And then you got I know how to do this. Maybe I need to breathe. I need to decompress. Maybe this, that. But then stresses pile up, and you really need tools to be able to face all of that.
Yeah, and maybe, I don't know, during the education, maybe we are not so receptive to that. It's like sometimes we have to go through certain things to understand, but we don't know what the stress, because we haven't worked with it. So we don't know when they're saying we will feel stress. Maybe we don't see it because we have not been in that situation.
But if you think about it, it's actually a very hard degree. It's not easy.
No. It is stressful even during the education.
That's it. And that's why it could be taught. Because even
it's true.
Deal with stress during the course, it's high demanding. And one of the reasons that I was talking to someone in a university from England, and she was telling me, it's already a hard course with high demanding curriculum. It's heavily charged curriculum for the 5 years. You get out of dentistry nowadays, and if you want to get specialized, you have to go after and do your specialization. You continue studying, and so. She told me that it's like where do we put this? Because I think now that awareness is starting to be raised, and these things are starting to at least being discussed for the future to be taught. But if we think about it, it's a high demanding course. It's heavily charged in time and in work. And there are even students of dentistry suffering from burnout,
even before they start to work.
For other reasons, like you said. But I remember, for example, when I was in university, and when we started to have certain exams that you had to have a positive grade to be able to go to the oral examination that was obliged to go. And I was not used to do oral evaluations, speaking in public and to be evaluated. I remember going to the bathroom to throw up. How nervous I was. It's highly.
It's really it is true. So we could be prepared already at that point. But one patient said one thing to me that was right on the point. I don't know what made him say it, but I think he saw that I was stressing. I had the waiting room was filled with patients, and I was working. And he said to me, "Christina, your profession is really difficult because you have to give 100% every time with every patient." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
When sometimes I tell dentists, okay, one of the things you have stopped doing is stop multitasking, and there's no, I cannot. And yeah, it's true. What I mean about stop multitasking is, we know that dentists have to deal with a lot of things, so that's not what I mean. But when you're dealing one thing, just deal with that. Give 100% to that. Then you deal with the other. That's what I mean when stop multitasking. Tasking. But it's a lot. The moment you enter the practice, you have to deal with the staff of the practice, with patients, with the labo, with the material working correctly, so much things. And then dentists have to be also, if they are the owners, they have to manage the staff. Sometimes they are even accountants, their own accountants. They have to deal with lots of things. But one of the ways it's like you said, give 100% in what you're doing, focus on that, and then move to the other thing. But it's highly demanding.
That's a big thing. That's what you said now is really right to the point, because I find myself multitasking all the time. How come? I speak with 10 different people. there, and it's like I have forgot how to just do one thing.
But you do one thing at a time. The thing is that you just don't do one kind of thing. So you have to do several things, right? But when you are doing it, you do just that thing.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
It's real.
Easy.
No.
How
is the course? Is it based on several weeks? Is it months?
The course it's during 8 weeks, and it's 2 hours and a half each week. So, for example, now I have two groups, because the third one we finished last week. I have one group at Thursdays from 7:30 to 9:30 in the evening, every Thursdays for 8 weeks. And I have another at Saturdays morning from 10 to 12 during 8 weeks. So the thing about taking 8 weeks, it's because you need time to rewire your brain connections and to implement these new ways. Because the first step is always you have to pause and bring awareness to your life. You bring awareness to your triggers. You bring awareness to your stress agents. You bring awareness to the way that you multitask, for example. You bring awareness to time management, all of those things. And then you have to, because, what we are talking here, stress in dentistry you cannot have a stress-free practice. You cannot be a stress-free dentist. That doesn't exist.
That is not working well.
That doesn't exist, and that's not the goal. I don't know any dentist that doesn't have normal stress, but stress can be reduced, and the one that cannot be eliminated can be managed. We can learn how to better deal with stress, how to respond instead of reacting. Because sometimes what happens is that we react in autopilot, and also due to a negativity bias. And that Sergio was speaking in the beginning when you were talking about this week, when you introduced, you were talking about how people see negative, and that's that's not a dentist thing, and that's a human nature. We as humans have a tendency to make the negative more important, and that has to do with our evolutionary way of dealing with threats, because we need to be prepared, right, to react, to protect us as a species. And there's actually a study that shows that if something negative happens to you in a day, and something positive happens to you, and they both have the same importance, then in the end of the day, you'll remember the negative. So we as humans have this negativity bias. So if you spend your day in autopilot, only noticing the negative, then you reach the end of your day, feeling tired, feeling that you have no meaning, asking, what am I doing, right? Yeah. So, for example, I give this 3 very practical tips. First, if you can stop multitasking, do one thing. When I mean stop multitasking, again, is do one thing at a time. You can do several things, but when you are doing that thing, be there. Yeah. The second is, if you're already doing so much, eliminate your distractions, so no phones ringing, no texts, etc. Just put your phone on your desk in silent mode, and try to eliminate distractions so that you can be present. And the third is to make this conscious effort to notice the positive and to celebrate the positive. Because but you have to make the effort, otherwise it's the negative that's going to be there. So you have to bring the positive at the same level as the negative. And you do that by celebrating it. You have to tell yourself, you did well, you are helping people today.
Sobre lo que estás diciendo, es muy interesante porque yo tengo el teléfono siempre en silencio. Me lo contaste. Entonces, es una cosa interesante que tomé conciencia y bueno, lógicamente igual en cualquier persona y en un dentista más, ¿no? Pero cuanto más cortemos el ruido externo, más podemos escucharnos a nosotros y más podemos estar presentes en lo que hay que hacer. O sea, ayer, por ejemplo, dio la casualidad que todo el mundo parecía que se acordaba de mí, llamándome, mandando mensajes, y yo apuntando. Pues yo me levanto a las 5 de la mañana y me acosté a las 11:30. Y esta mañana otra vez a las 5. Encantado. Pero viví ese punto de estoy fuera de control. Porque sí, oye, quiero registrar una marca. Sí, ya he registrado una marca. Tal. Sí. Digo, espera. Sí. Necesito ahora poner orden en el calendario. Hasta que no viví ayer eso, pero lo viví una vez. Hay personas que viven así y años. Entonces, si alguien escucha esto, que pare, que se puede vivir feliz haciendo multitarea, pero ordenadamente y cada cosa en su momento. Si estás comiendo, estás comiendo. Si estás duchándote contigo, no con el cliente, no con el otro, no de la moto, contigo. ¿Cuánta gente se ducha y no está solo en la ducha? Hay un montón de gente allí. Por eso es muy importante ese mindfulness, estar presente haciendo lo que se está haciendo. Para mí es muy importante, como ahora, estar aquí hablando, conversando y estamos. Yo estoy disfrutando ahora de tu conversación, de vuestra presencia y me siento halagado y afortunado porque, oye, este momento lo hemos creado, ¿no? Pero es gracias a escucharme, a escuchar cada una de las personas y acceder a la invitación también. Eso es muy bonito cuando te das cuenta, ¿sabes? Así que gracias, ya está, yo no hablo más.
Yeah, gracias, thank you. No, but that's why it's so important to share, because if Manuela wouldn't be sharing, I wouldn't have thought about Manuela. If I wouldn't do the post that 1 week ago at the beach, you wouldn't send me a text, should we do a podcast? You know, connected. So
magical things happen when you just like Sergio was saying, when you give the chance to really pause, to listen to yourself, to put order in your life, then it's like things come to you. You don't have to go to because the things that come to you, it's aligned with you. Okay? For me, it's been a magical journey, and everything that
so nice.
Sergio was saying is absolutely right. What I do with dentists is to take them on that journey, you know, for them to be able to recognize where their life is, because, you know, I had colleagues telling me, actually, for example, now during this time of Corona, and it's been difficult times. It's more important now than ever that we handle our stress of our patients, of course, and it's important to be present to yourself, to your patients. But I had dentist colleagues saying, you know, this was actually a good thing. I have to work. I have more time to work. And I said, well, and why didn't you have before? So, I could not stop. I could not. It's money and this and that. But that really doesn't make a difference, and I feel much better. So for you for a pandemia, the reason why you're feeling better, something is going on, right? So what I do is during this 8 weeks is to bring awareness of all of that, and to give them tools for them to realize, and it's not me saying, it's them feeling, because like I told you, it's a very practical courses, so it's 2 hours during the week, and then they have all this homework, but it's practical things to do. And it's take them on a journey for them to realize that they have choices, and that change can be made, and that they don't have to feel like they are prisoners of this life, that they have to keep on going and not even knowing not why. So that's very important.
I have heard many dentists when I was on the volunteer project, that they told me they were working 4 days, and I was like, can you work 4 days and have 1 day off? Wow. And I have really forced myself to have Wednesdays off. And this morning, when I was jogging, I heard the podcast Jay Shetty. Do you know of Jay Shetty? Yeah, he's really inspirational.
He was positive.
Yeah, and the podcast was together with the man who wrote the book Think Like a Rocket Scientist, Ozone or something. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his name. And it was so interesting, because this man, said that he's taking 2 walks a day with his wife, or sometimes alone, because when he's walking, then the subconscious thoughts are coming. And it made me think also about the story you put yesterday, Sergio, about the boy with the, how do you say, the hacha, I don't know, when you cut wood in the woods, like that you have to sharpen that instrument, but it will just be bad. It will just get worse result. And we sharpen our instrument by having time off, and we don't realize it. We are in this hamster wheel, and we just have to. And it's also happening that every time, for example, I try to be from work, then something is happening, or somebody has pain. It's also work where people are involved with pain, and it's like that's why it's so complicated as well. and you always have to be available. But another thought I had, Manuela, it had to be a really difficult choice for you to leave dentistry, that because also what people will say. What do you say?
My parents still don't accept it to this day. They're still very disappointed on me. but actually, it's been a year and they still don't accept it. But at least now, for example, my mother already told me, but I see that you are happier.
Oh, so good. That is the important
thing. It's very difficult, But they recognize that I'm happier, and the rest of the people surrounding. My boyfriend was very, very supportive. That was very, very very good, because when I thought about leaving dentistry, I became aware. I had this thought in my mind that it was like I was not leaving dentistry. I was going to stop working. So the only thing I could do.
And
I was like, no, I'm not going to stop working. I'm going to continue working, but in a different thing.
Yes.
So I had to change my mindset here. Do you understand? Because I think dentistry also does that to you. Maybe other jobs also, but I mean, I'm talking as a dentist, because that's what I've been for almost 20 years. It's like, it's part of our personality, It's like, Manuela, and on the phone, it's Manuela, the dentist.
Yes. Yeah, it's true.
I had to change my mindset here. And it was only when I was able to do that I quit dentistry, because it was only from that moment on also that I embraced myself as being other thing than being a dentist.
Yes. Wow. So you're very strong. You're very strong, Manuela, because it takes a lot of bravery to listen to yourself. Don't you think, another thing, there are two things that I also have learned during these 15 years. Who you work with, the team building, and education. When you do some at some point I felt like every day was the same. And I thought that maybe dentistry is not for me because I have come to an end. But it was not true. That's why, but then when I educated myself in other areas, then I fell in love again. So we think sometimes that it stops there, but then maybe it's just some education, some course that will make you fall in love. And also to have people around you that are positive and want the best for you, and shall we dance, put music, a little bit like not having it so serious.
You are absolutely right. To have a team that you feel comfortable to, where there is a good communication, that's so important. And sometimes you don't even have to talk right in words, because you feel each other's energy, which is that's a very powerful thing. And also what you said about education, I see that also happening with dentists, because sometimes we put ourselves in boxes, that's what I'm used to do, and that's what I'm supposed to do. Sometimes it just takes a change of perspective, and a change, not a change, but the willingness of getting out of your comfort zone. You also already spoke about that. You like to get out of the comfort zone, right? I heard you say that already during our conversation. There are certain people that are actually afraid of doing that.
I was like that before, but I have learned that in life,
you have
failure. Failure is not something bad. It will give you more.
Sometimes it takes the courage to get out of your comfort zone. But for you to have the courage to do that, you actually have to get out a little bit of that box. You know, it's like you are looking down and you have a very narrow view of things. And if you look up, and it's like you open up and you see these different perspectives. And then if you see that you have choices, then you say, okay, so maybe I should do that course, or maybe I should change this. And then you start trying, and then you see that it's actually not that hard.
Yeah.
But sometimes you are too much in the autopilot, too much in the hamster wheel, like you were saying.
What I do, maybe this is a tip. I don't know, but what I do when I get the thought that I want to learn this, I get an intuition. Then I do it immediately. I get an intuition. I want to book that course. I just enter and I book it. So then I don't have any time to start to think about it.
Overthinking,
I shouldn't. Yeah, I just do it. So that's it. Okay, now Christina, it's done. So I think maybe
quitado la interrupción, ya has quitado el ruido.
Sí.
Ha ido directo. Ya no tengo más ruido. Ya me he comprometido y eso ante todo. Una pregunta que me surge desde fuera, porque lógicamente no he estado nada más que como paciente en una clínica, que me han dejado con la boca abierta de lo bien que lo han hecho. Bueno, yo le he puesto aquí garbanzo negro. Garbanzo negro significa cuando hay un equipo de gente y ahora resulta que una persona está fuera de resonancia o fuera de filosofía, de ambiente, y roba energía al dentista, cliente, al dueño, al que sea, o un compañero otro, pero ¿qué hacemos con una persona que está fuera de lugar en comparación al contexto? O imaginemos que el profesional de buena primera ha ido a un curso de Manuela y ha cambiado. Y ahora quiere cambiar, que se da cuenta que esa persona es tóxica. ¿Qué hace?
Well, and if I'm going,
para los que nos están escuchando, tenemos un chino en Bélgica que le traduce inmediatamente.
I'm going to answer you in my. You want to translate, Christina?
Yeah. Do you want to translate? I understood it like, if you have one toxic person in a work, what do you do?
I'm going to first answer you in my personal
clinic.
On my personal choice, what I do, and then I'm going to answer you what I would say to someone that was attending the course or that had attended the course and had to deal with that problem. If it was me, it depended if I was the owner of the practice or not. If I was the owner of the practice, then I would have the authority to make the decision that that person was no longer in the team spirit, and it was toxic and not doing. If it was not doing well to me, to the team, and to the patient, then. But when you are not the owner of the practice, that's not that easy because you don't have the authority to do that, right? So what I would act is to try to act from a place of compassion and remember myself that that person might be having problems or suffering also, and also remember myself that I have to work with that person and prepare myself to work with a person that is not on the same energy or can be even toxic or draining. What I usually, in my courses, what I usually teach, because, you know, it's funny, it's the question that I have from dentists when the courses are over. They say, okay, now we know all of these things and we use self-awareness and we are aware of the emotions and we can connect much more with ourselves. And what about other people that don't know all of this? How do they still, there's a lot of stupid people there. How do we deal with them? Hey, you have to.
Yeah.
So, but because you grow this consciousness, right? You are more aware, so you can bring that, and you can bring compassion, and you can remember that sometimes the actions of people are also because they are suffering, right? And and you have to prepare yourself not only to the good but also to the bad, and have this place of calm and patience to deal with other persons. I don't know, Christina, what would you do if it was in your team, someone like that?
No, but I totally agree, and that with compassion, that I read when I read I love a Buddhist monk and his books. His name is Thich Nhat. It's 3 names, and he speaks about that, and that is very Buddhist style of thinking. I love that when somebody is behaving in maybe not such a kind way, what they actually need is more love. It's not always that you have maybe the patience. And you can give love, and that is, but it is something that Sergio said the other day when we were speaking. You can give a lot, but it comes also to a point when that person maybe has too many problems and is too difficult. And it is still a workplace. You cannot, or in personal life, it's like with a relationship. You can give a person a certain amount of love and try and be psychological. Okay, maybe you need more time with me. But it comes to a point when we have to take a decision. And I heard in a podcast, successful people take fast decisions. I got a little bit surprised there. But I think also we cannot give too much time. Once again, we have to listen to our intuition. It's like, this doesn't feel good. I give my compassion, but if it doesn't still feel good, then I have learned as a dentist and dental clinic owner, I have learned that if I am in that position, it's better that person goes.
That has to do with assertiveness. You have to be assertive, and you have to make decisions, and that's. During the course, for example, we talk a lot about communication and being assertive, and that's very important, because if you have to, like we already said, there are certain stress that you cannot take away from dentistry, right? So there is stress that you have to deal with it because it cannot be eliminated. Yeah. But then there's the other stress that can be eliminated. Okay, so if you, for example, if you go through the stress agents during your workday, you will see that this is a conclusion that you're going to take. There's stress that you have to learn, and you have to deal with it because it's part of your work and it cannot be eliminated. And then there's the other that you can reduce. And that person, if she is giving you stress, if she is giving you problems, if she is not contributing in a positive way for the work, for the day, for the patients, then it's maybe you can take action, be assertive, and say, no, okay, this person doesn't belong in my team. But again, I want to make also a distinction. You have that possibility, but there are a lot of dentists that don't have their own practices and that cannot make those decisions, and so they have to learn how to deal with that, because then that person is a stress that they have to deal, that they cannot eliminate. Okay.
Yeah. They can change clinic
Yeah, of course. But that has to be more than just one person. It's because things are not working, and you have to. If you reach the conclusion that a place that you are working it's not for you, then that's what you have to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you had dentists that has come to the point that they say, I don't want to work as a dentist anymore?
No, I never had that. Dentists like what they do. That's why we endure so much.
We like to see people smile.
My personal experience is that dentists like what they do. I have dentists making changes in their lives. For example, like you said, stopping working in some places that was not good for them. For example, I had dentists that I always have a group on Saturdays mornings, and some dentists have to stop working at Saturdays. They work on Saturdays, and they have to stop working on Saturdays for those 8 weeks. I had dentists not coming back to work on Saturdays. They said, no, I'm not. Yeah. I like to have the weekends for me. It's good for me. I discovered that, and the money that I made, it doesn't pay off this. No. So I had that happening also, but no until now. But it's legitimate for you to say I don't. If that's your conclusion, and if you have other passions, explore the passion. Of course, you are in total right to do that.
Yes,
but it's interesting. I always, before I start a course, I always have some questions for them to answer before the course starts, and they answer the exact same questions after the course ends. And the first question is always, I am satisfied with my job. And until now, and I'm gathering all this data for my article that I'm writing, and until now I have like a percentage of around 65% saying that they don't agree, so they are not happy with their jobs in the beginning. In the end, I have 100% saying that they agree, that they are satisfied with their jobs after the 8 weeks. So this works, and because it teaches you to rediscover again the joy in practicing, and sometimes it's just small shifts, and we all have this wisdom inside. We all know the right things, right? But we actually have to make time for them. We actually have to not only talk about them, but to apply them. It's like I say to them, for example, and this is a very interesting thing. Mindfulness is all of that we already talked about, and Sergio said so well, that's just to be able to be present in whatever you are doing. But then you have meditation, and meditation is mental practice. It's mental training. I usually say it's like going to the gym to grow the muscles of presence, to grow the muscles of focus, of concentration. And the big training during the 2 first weeks of the course, it's the body scan. And the body scan, what it does, it's bring this body-mind connection, because what happens is that we live just inside our heads, right? So and you need to grow this awareness back to your body in order even to listen to that intuition, to feel your feelings and emotions, all of that. And when I say, okay, during this week you have this guided training for you to hear for, it's only 10 minutes. And the second week, I know that they did not do it, because 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes on 24 hours. Why don't you have the time to do it? But you have time to scroll on your phone. And so it needs time. You need to stop. You need to be able to disconnect from the external stimulation and to be able to grow this awareness to yourself. Yeah. But once you do that, then the change is very, very easy.
Dentro del programa, Manuela, y es que tú nos hagas una pregunta a nosotros.
Good.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, I'm going to ask you one question that I always. It's
a
the
both,
first
a both.
Yeah.
A mí y a Cristina directamente, una pregunta a cada uno.
Vale. Tell me something that brought you joy, that made you smile, that brought you contentment during last week.
For me, the question for me. Lo que me ha hecho sonreír durante toda la semana es el haber tomado decisiones hace poco de escucharme, de dar el salto al vacío a razón de cómo quiero vivir, apostar por mi proyecto con todas las incertidumbres del mundo y estar viendo que cada día me está respondiendo la vida con personas, con conexiones, con el hecho de estar haciendo mi misión de vida. Para mí, misión de vida es comunicar, compartir, descubrir, dar a conocer, hacer sonreír, hacer reflexionar y no sé, yo estoy súper a gusto, no me siento que estoy trabajando. Eso es lo que me hace sonreír. Me hace levantarme por la mañana a las 5 de la mañana, hacer deporte, mi meditación es 1 hora corriendo, o sea, descubrirme a mí mismo, cuando me surge un problema, cómo le doy la vuelta para aprender de otras maneras del pasado y restablecerlo. Por ejemplo, ahora en Andalucía yo me levantaba a las 5 menos cuarto, 5 y 5, depende del día, ya estaba corriendo. Las restricciones de lo que tenemos ahora, desde las 11 de la noche hasta las 6 de la mañana no podía salir. Bien, bueno, 1 hora, me levanto un poco más tarde, bueno. Y ahora a las 7. ¡Buah! Bueno, a las 7, mientras sí que no, que contesto redes sociales, que se me va a las 8, ya se me ha escapado. Bueno, entonces, conclusión, de 5 a 7 estoy estudiando técnicamente marketing digital, mejorando técnicas nuevas y todo, aprendo, me voy, hago mi deporte, vengo y empiezo a hacer el trabajo del día a día, o sea, las tareas. Y después por la tarde ya me lo dedico a mí, a mis inquietudes, a lo que me gusta. O puede ser que sea trabajo, o puede ser que sea una conversación con alguien que yo quiera, o lo que sea. Y la verdad es que me estoy sintiendo muy satisfecho. Es eso, la risa es sentirme vivo. Y mira que le he pasado mal en mi camino, y podía estar tal, y hace 2 días he cometido errores y tal. Da igual. O sea, es como empezar otra vez y aquí estoy, vivo. Porque nadie, o sea, yo me digo, es que dentro de nada, yo digo 100 años, no sé, pero bueno, muy optimista soy. Nadie va a estar vivo dentro de 100 años. Desde que nací hasta que me muera, entre medio de ya depende de mí. Me he dado cuenta ahora que la vida es mía, no es de nadie. Y si me apetece comer un helado en invierno, me lo como, ¿no? Y es el toma de conciencia de la semana.
Sí,
lógicamente,
sí.
Una de las cosas que es poder poner este proyecto en marcha, poder compartir, conectar, ¿no? Es decir, de ser un bicho raro con otras personas que no... Joder, y la misma propuesta con alguien puede ser, bullshit, ¿no? Qué tontería. A alguien que, wow, qué bien. Joder, claro. ¿no? O sea, tú puedes ser tu mejor versión de como persona y ser la peor persona con la persona equivocada.
Sí, sí, sí.
Entonces, pues cada uno que esté con las personas que mejor esté en tu versión y ya está. O sea, puedes mejorar, puedes tener inquietud, tener detalle y no vale.
Claro.
Cuando te vas, te echan de menos. Cuando no, yo quiero que me tengan presente en el momento. No cuando me vaya, sino cuando estoy. Y cuando me vayan, que se alegren por haber estado, pero no nada de llorar. Eso no lo quiero. Es qué bien que tuve ese momento, ¿no? Y eso es igual que ahora. Ahora estoy escuchando a vosotras dos, escuchándote a ti cómo nos comparte cosas tan bonitas y estoy sonriendo. Pero es por eso, es que qué suerte. Me siento afortunado.
Ole. Yeah, we are healthy, we are alive, we are very lucky.
Salud.
Yeah. But also for you, Christina, tell us something that made you smile. That
smile. Yeah. I have so much to smile for. I have read a lot of books that say gratitude is an important thing, and I live with that every day. So I smile a lot. I make people smile. But I'm also doing it consciously. I can think like now when I go to the clinic, I will put a song and I will tell my staff that we will dance. Poor people, sometimes they don't want to. but I force us sometimes to be in that moment. So we will already be happy. So when the patient enter, we will be happy. And why have I come to this point to be like that? So I can smile. I have been smiling for many things. Sergio came to the clinic the other day to give me a present. That made me smile. It makes me smile. I feel fortunate to have an understanding husband that says, do you have time for a podcast as well? And I looked at him and said, I need this. It's something that just, I don't know, it's an intuition and that makes me smile. But I also, as a dancer, I'm very dependent on making my patients smile. So I have noticed my bad days are when the expectations are not, when my expectations or a patient's expectations were higher than we can accomplish. Maybe a crown didn't come from the technician, and we had the expectation to be able to cement it. And then maybe a machine stopped functioning. In a dental clinic, so many things can go wrong, and suddenly the computer is not functioning. It's like you just feel that the water is going out from the, how do you say, from the bottle, and you're like, come on, give me something positive now. And that is when you have a bad day, when you feel like so many things have gone wrong, but I feel like it's not because of me, it's because of circumstances that I can't decide, and that can make me feel sad, and that can give me anxious, and I have to work with that. But smile, I'm pushing myself. And the coronavirus and different crises in my life have made me to push myself to smile. Because about the clinic, I made so much investments just right before this pandemic, like many of us have done. And then so when we started to work again, I said to the staff, I said, we're not going to think about money, because I have realized that it doesn't matter how you plan, how much you work. Suddenly it comes a virus. Who could see that coming? And money disappears, and you have things to pay. And at least when we're here working, we will have fun, I said. We will have fun with the patients. We will joke with them. So I try to keep that spirit every day and don't forget it, because money come and go, and And if not, then we will start to be sick, especially in times like this. So
yeah, but it was beautiful what you said. Thank you for sharing that, and that's exactly the antidote for the negativity bias that we talked before. You have to bring it. You have to force it. You have to, in order to be able to at least balance with the negative. But if you can bring the positive even higher than the negative, even the better. But that's really good. So congratulations on doing that.
Thank you. That has come from difficult situations. That doesn't come by a book. It comes after crisis, comes after somebody has died, and you realize that this is not forever. So that is also why we shouldn't be afraid of life and of difficult moments, because after those difficult moments you will come to another conscious level of life, I think.
But the thing is that some people can, it's difficult for them to do that. And if you acquire this skills like self-awareness, the skills it brings like emotional intelligence, to deal with all this, with all these things that life throws at us that are not easy, in dentistry. That makes all the difference. And I cannot say this enough, because all the dentists have the technical part. All the dentists are intelligent people. Otherwise, they like we told, it's a difficult degree, it's a difficult life. So they have the intelligence, they have the technical abilities. But if we bring the other part, if we bring the self-awareness, if we bring the emotional intelligence, then they can make a difference, not only in their lives, but also in their families and their staff, and everything will flow in a different way.
Yes.
Como buen coach, es ¿qué te lleva de esta sesión? ¿Qué es lo que ha aprendido como de lo que hemos hablado? Entonces, voy a empezar yo como ejemplo, y ya me respondéis, aquí ya estamos los tres por igual. He aprendido que estar conectado con la intuición es muy importante.
Sí.
Y que respirar tras respirar, ahí está la vida. O sea, entre una respiración y otra es vida. Y me ha ayudado esta sesión, o este podcast, para reafirmar más esa intuición, donde di el salto. Estar en presente al servicio. Así que, quien quiera podéis pasar a hablar vosotras. Después de esto, ya sí que podemos ir cerrando. Ya damos el contacto de Manuela y todo eso.
Sergio was asking what we have learned from today. Yes, so many things.
Yeah, more than learning, I felt a really good energy with both of you. I was thinking in the middle of our conversation, I was thinking, I could become friends with these two. So we have to keep in touch. So we never met each other. We never have talked before. Just me and Christina through some messaging on Instagram. So it was the first time that we were having a conversation, and more than learning, I felt this really good energy. And I think it has to do with mindset. We share this mindset, and it was really, really good to have and feel the energy and to have this conversation.
Yeah, really nice.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. But I felt it from the beginning. Manuela, we had never been speaking. I didn't even know your name. I said to you, sorry, what is your name? But in the post, I note, because also to say as a dentist, I knew that sentence, to say as a dentist, you said something like, I felt like maybe I would not work with this all my life. And I knew, like, whoa, to say that as a dentist is like, it's because, like you said, it's our identity. It's like Christina la dentista, Christina the dentist. I'm dentist before I am a woman, wife, mother. And people know you like that. And so to just open your heart and say that, that was like, whoa, this is an incredible woman I have. And when Sergio and I were speaking about podcast, I was like, I've never been speaking with this woman, but we have to hear what she has to say.
Why not?
And I know why not. And Sergio always says, why not? Porque no? And that is also, I love that, because nothing is impossible. And you're doing a great job, Manuela. And I'm so happy. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy because I know how important what you're doing. I know it's so important. You're saving many lives and saving many, how can I say, from dentists to become mental
mindset.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about my work and to raise awareness for all of this, because sometimes it's not something dentists are not something that people talk about, and this is actually a problem. It's actually a problem, and it should be discussed, because if we don't speak, you actually give the problem more power. You have to discuss, you have to speak it, you have to, and that's what I'm trying to do. Of course, I'm trying to help dentists and colleagues and dentistry, because it's something that I love, I continue to love, and I'm trying to bring some more compassion into dentistry also. And it's been wonderful to be here with you and to be able to talk about all of this. So thank you so much to both of you.
We need that. Thank you. Thank you very much, Manuela.
Muchas
and we
gracias.
keep in contact.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
For sure.
si alguien quiere conectar contigo, ¿tienes página web, redes sociales?
I have my Instagram account. That's where me and Christina connected, and you can look for Mindful Dentistry, mindful.dentistry. And I have my website with my 8 weeks mindfulness stress reduction for dentistry, for dentists, which is mindfuldentistrytraining.com. And also I have a page on Facebook, Mindful Dentistry, so you can find me there.
También pondremos todo lo pondremos escrito en las cajas de comentarios, tanto en el podcast como en YouTube, y en los posts en redes sociales también pondremos directamente los enlaces y tus redes sociales para que pueda conectar cualquier persona. Pues Manuela, pues muchísimas gracias. Muchas gracias, ha sido un placer muy grande y esperemos repetir nuevamente. Pues nada, pues muchísimas gracias.
Whenever you want, I'll be ready.
Muchas gracias.
It was a pleasure.
Este programa está patrocinado por Nordic Dental Center, tu clínica dental y estética de la Costa del Sol, y Loop by Cell, agencia de venta directa digital. Ayuda a digitalizar la captación de clientes y la puesta en marcha de nuevos negocios para que funcionen digitalmente. This program is sponsored by Nordic Dental Center, your dental and aesthetic clinic in Costa del Sol, and Loop by Cell, a digital direct sales agency. They help digitize customer acquisition and the startup of new businesses to make them work digitally.